What You Gotta Do is on now.
Hi, welcome to this week's edition of What You Gotta Do podcast with your hosts, KT and Cody, where we yak about relatable topics and inspire one another to live a simple, abundant life. Good morning, KT.
Hi, Cody Hardy. How are you doing today?
I am excellent. How are you?
It couldn't be better. It's Saturday. We're recording. We have a great guest. It's going to be a great day.
By the way, you look beautiful. You have this lipstick on and you have this sexy little turtleneck. Like, you're looking good.
It's my Steve Jobs outfit. Thank you.
Well, I am very excited for this week's guest, and I wanted to ask you to introduce her, please.
Okay, I was super fortunate. I was at the dog park. I met this woman, and not only was she absolutely beautiful and friendly, but she had this specific confidence about her that really blew me away. And as we talked, I asked her, so what do you do? And she tells me she's training to be a helicopter pilot in the Coast Guard. And I said, oh, wow. And then I said, will you be on our podcast? And she agreed. Kyla, welcome. Kyla Hughley is currently in training to become a Coast Guard helicopter pilot. She's born in Neptune, New Jersey. She is commissioned as a Coast Guard officer from the Coast Guard Academy in 2019 with a bachelor's in science and internal relationship. So welcome, Kyla. Did I say your last name correctly, Hughley?
You did, actually. I'm very surprised you got the first and last name right. Usually people mess up one or the other. So thank you.
Fantastic.
And thank you for having me.
We're very excited.
My first question before we get started is, what's it like telling people you're from Neptune?
I usually get a lot of giggles for some reason. Everybody's like, what? That's a planet. Yeah, it's just very weird. And then usually people who are from that area always ask, what exit? So that's how I know they're familiar with the area. But yeah, or I have people say, oh, New Jersey, that's the armpit of the U.S. And then I always say, well, at least I don't have to pump my own gas. So, yeah.
Yeah, true.
I get a lot of different responses.
I love it. I love the what exit. Like, I can't even imagine, like, being in the West. That is just not a term we use. What exit?
If you know, you know. Yeah.
That's funny. Well, before I introduce today's topic, there has been some recent news in the world that has caused us to celebrate. And we thought today would be a perfect time to raise a glass of a mimosa. And I'm calling mine a Jason mimosa in honor of his divorce. Whether it's sad or dramatic, I'm not really sure, but all of us single women are celebrating today. So raise your glass and cheers, Jason Momoa, to your divorce.
Cheers.
Enjoy a Jason mimosa. I would like to enjoy a Jason Momoa too.
Either one.
So, Kyla, we're so excited that you're here. And I think, Cody, if you could explain the topic and how it relates to Kyla, and we can start drilling her on all these questions that we want to know about her so deeply.
I'm so excited when you told me you met her at the dog park, because as a little girl, I always wanted to be an astronaut. I was really obsessed with that. And when I was in third grade, the Challenger exploded, and it intrigued me about space and all of that. But I did not think that I was capable, strong enough, physically, mentally. I didn't really know the pathway to get there either, to be an astronaut. So I am very intrigued at Kyla and why she chose this path. And I came across this term, vertical limit. And vertical limit is the highest altitude at which humans can survive. And you think about what your vertical limit is, and are you pushing that vertical limit? And I think Kyla is a perfect example of achieving that vertical limit, whether she knew that pathway or not. So I really am excited about that. And that's kind of the theme of today's topic. Tell us why you got involved with the Coast Guard, how you got involved, what age were you when that maybe it spurred an inspiration for you? I want to hear all of that.
Right. I'll try to keep it short because we can either go the long way or the short way.
You can go whatever way you want.
Okay.
We have about 4 minutes, so go for it.
So growing up, I just loved structure and discipline. I would, I guess it's not normal for a lot of kids to just go out of their way and make their own bed and just kind of like take on chores and stuff like that. So my parents noticed that. And then, so in addition to just liking structure and like timeliness and all that stuff, I loved camo, like wearing camo. I thought it was so cute. Any color camo, I was trying to wear it.
Love
My
that.
mom, we'd go to the mall. She would literally have to like kind of distract me if I saw like a camo outfit. I'm like, I want that. And black shiny boots. Black shiny boots were
Black
like,
shiny boots and camo.
yes, that was me. I was definitely a tomboy growing up, and
If we had male listeners, they'd all be so turned on right now.
but yeah, like I just loved that stuff. And then going into high school, I was in the NJROTC program. It's like a Naval Junior ROTC program. And that's where the doors for the military opened up for me. Again, you had to wear a uniform on Mondays. So, you had to make sure you had,
it.
I just loved it. I was thriving. Like, I was like, wow, I love being like, not told what to do, I guess, but just having responsibility and being like having higher expectations of myself than the other students who didn't have to wear a uniform on Monday. However, I also knew that I liked leading others. And so I did well with listening to instructions and stuff like that. But I also knew that I'm a great thinker, just, I guess, a leader overall. So I knew that I would one day put myself in a position where I can lead others and kind of guide them and set a good example for them. So yeah.
I love that. I think that's what takes a good leader is that they're kind of mechanical in a lot of ways in the basic, simple things of everyday life, to where they can free themselves up in the space to be the best they can in those other areas.
Right. And a good leader also needs to learn how to follow first. So I think that helped a lot with the training and everything.
So I was in student council in high school, and that was our motto: lead, follow, or get out of the way.
Ooh, I love that. It's very direct.
Absolutely. Like step up and be the leader, back off and follow a good leader, or just like move out.
I love that. I might have to write that down.
It's something I have really, it inspired me for my whole entire life.
Right. Yeah, no, I love that.
I'm just a great follower, not a leader.
But not everybody can do the whole leading thing. Sometimes I've noticed in the military, some people don't know when to step back. Everybody has to be involved and everybody has to take charge. And over the years, I've learned like, sometimes it's not your fight to fight. Sometimes you don't always have to come up with this great idea. Let somebody else take charge. I've already proven to myself what I can do. Let me allow others to have that opportunity. So that's one thing I have learned. Yeah.
You're so wise for your age.
Stop.
Seriously, I just adore you so far. Okay.
Thanks.
So tell me, why did you choose the Coast Guard out of all of the military arms, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard? Why did you choose the Coast Guard? Right.
So first of all, nobody typically knows about the Coast Guard. It's just so...
It's like the secret agency, right?
Yeah.
It's undervalued.
Yes. Yeah. Underfunded. But yeah, so in high school, I became the leader for my program, my ROTC program. And my commanding officer, he let all the seniors know, hey, or I think I was a junior, he let all of us know that at Rutgers University, I don't know if you guys know that school, but they were just having a program where they allowed all of the ROTC programs of colleges, all of the service academies, come there and have a session and represent each service. And so I was interested in the Air Force. So that's a plot twist.
Because the aviation part.
Right. Yeah. Well, no, not even. I was interested in the Air Force just because, I don't know, of all the branches, I just liked them the most. Navy just seemed like they would always go on boats. Army just seemed like a lot of grunts going on. Same with Marines. I was just like, I don't know if I can hang with them. Mm-hmm. But I spoke to a woman. She represented the Coast Guard. And she looked at me, like she told me to come here. Like a lot of the students were going to the other representatives and trying to sell themselves. No, she was like, hey, you come here. And so they sent me to the Coast Guard Academy for 2 days for free to visit and see if I liked the school. And I did.
So you got to do a tour before you got to sign on and commit?
Oh, yeah.
Is that common? I've never heard that before. They really wanted you. Yeah. They rolled out the red carpet.
Right.
Let's get Kyla.
They really wanted her because I know that when Liam was wondering, which service he was going to go into, he wanted to go do one of those overnight things at the Coast Guard Academy. Right. And the paperwork to request it, it's we just gave up
Yeah.
because it was so much. So they spotted her and they wanted
He
her.
didn't want it that bad then.
No, it is a lot. Trust me. But yeah, and I loved it. I love as you know, the Coast Guard's pretty small. It's the smallest branch out there, and it was just a small campus, but I really loved it. It's in New London, Connecticut, so the New England vibe is kind of similar to Jersey, and that's where I attended, and it was a good time.
How many women were in the process with you, or in your boot camp? Or do they call it boot camp?
We call it swab summer, and they refer to the trainees as swabs. So they're like, swab,
right?
Hughley.
That is like the low of the low, right?
Yeah,
a swab.
You're a swab,
That's
swabbing
awful.
the deck. You're a mop.
So how many women were in there with you?
I believe they only started letting women in back in like the early 70s. I believe 73 maybe.
Wow.
So, I mean, obviously the numbers have increased, but there was only about, I would say 30% maybe.
But that's still, I feel like that's that's a lot actually. I was thinking more like 10%
Right,
or 5%.
right.
30% is quite a few. That's awesome.
I have to backtrack those numbers just to make sure. But,
well, I'm not going to hold your fire. We're not going to fact check you. We're not that yet. We're not Joe Rogan.
Right. That's funny.
Kyla,
you went to the academy, which automatically put you like in an officer training role. But can people enlist or try to enlist?
Oh, definitely.
Do they have that same type of program through the Coast Guard?
Mm-hmm. So the Coast Guard does their enlisted training in Cape May, New Jersey. However, that program is also extremely hard to get into, which I wasn't even aware of that. Even for the enlisted side, that wait list is so long, and I didn't even realize that. And comparatively, at the Coast Guard Academy, I believe the statistics are like 1,000 people apply, or maybe even more than that. So many people apply, but each class only holds or takes in about 300 students. And by the time you graduate, I had about 250 students graduate with me. So thousands of people apply. They only take about 300 for a class. And then, you know, with swab summer, boot camp, and academics and everything, people just get weeded out over the 4 years.
Can we talk about your boot camp?
Yeah, sure.
For just a minute. Well, if you want.
Oh,
if
yeah,
it's like
no.
PTSD,
No.
I totally get it. So when KT's son went through Navy diver school, she would tell me all these stories. She had so much anxiety when he was going through boot camp and all this process. So I got to hear all of this stuff from a mom's side, and I dread it.
I was a wreck.
It's okay. My mother was too. There's a picture. My sister, first of all, she's 3 years older than me. She thinks she's my mother as well. There's a picture of her crying in the back seat as my parents are driving off the base. And she's crying. My mom's upset. My dad's like, listen, you guys got to get it together. They were a wreck. Yeah. So I understand.
The voice of reason.
Right. You got to get it together. She's going to be fine.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it's boot camp. They're not.
It's not jail. Luckily, it's all for, a good cause. So, yeah.
It's all for a good cause.
Right.
Okay, so you had your eyes set on, because there's different positions within the Coast Guard, right? So you're coming in as an officer, you have your eyes set on what at the time?
So typically, they only take about 10% of the graduating class for aviation, and then they may take another 10% or less for a sector or response/preventative job, like inspecting other boats. That's more of a shore-based job. And the rest of the cadets, you go to a boat. So that's what I was expecting to do when I signed up, which wouldn't be bad, but I didn't realize there were different tracks you can follow, extremely competitive tracks, but I didn't realize that my goal didn't have to be a boat. And what made me realize that I could do aviation was when I was a sophomore. We call it third class, but when I was a sophomore, and I joined the aviation club, and a lot of different Coast Guard pilots came and spoke to us and told us like all the cool things that they do. And I was like, wow, that seems extremely hard. I don't know if I can do it. Kind of like you wanting to become an astronaut. Like, can I do that?
I didn't know how to get there. Like, where do you even start?
Exactly. I know a lot of the students that wanted to become a pilot, they grew up wanting that. They had dads and granddads and family members who were in the military who set that example. None of my family was in the military, except for my grandfather. He was in the Air Force for 4 years, but he never spoke about it until I joined the Coast Guard. And he was only enlisted for 4 years, so he did not enjoy his time. So, like, the military was something very rare for my family. And flying, they were like, what do you want to do? And why do you want to do that? And who raised this girl? Like, knowing me.
Right. Where did you come from? Like, where in the DNA in our
Exactly.
family? Like, where did you come from?
Yeah, and I just never considered it really, because I'm like, that's not possible. You know, like some girl from Neptune. Yeah, like how would that happen? But luckily, I just, you know, you continue to get good grades and you continue to become involved and have leadership positions. Those doors were always open. I just had to know that the doors were there in the first place.
I think that's so fantastic. Like, if you think about where you want to go for any sort of goal in life, it's overwhelming because you know that's where you want to be, but it's like eating the elephant. You hear that term a lot, right? You just have to eat day by day. So what's it going to take to get there? And if I start asking that question, it seems that those doors open.
Right. Yeah.
Like you said, what's it going to take to get there? I don't know, but I'm going to look through every opportunity that starts to present itself.
Exactly. Yeah. Definitely.
That is so inspiring. So how long are you signed on for? What's your commitment to the Coast Guard as of like today?
Okay. So upon commissioning and graduating in 2019, you typically owe 5 years. But when you sign up for aviation, they tack on another 8. So right now, since graduating in 2019.
So it's 13 years total?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How long until full retirement benefits?
The Coast Guard offers 2 different retirement plans now. They offer the traditional, where you have to do 20 years in order to get your full benefits. It's called the Legacy, and that's what I signed up for. But now they have the blended retirement system, where you can sign up for that, and you can leave prior to 20 years, but you don't get the full benefits and all that stuff. But me, I'm a hard charger. So I was like, I want to do 20 years. I can't even imagine what I would do if I wasn't in the Coast Guard. So I'm going to sign up for 20 and commit. So here we are.
Kyla, was there ever a time in your training or when you were at the academy where you actually doubted yourself or had like a down point? And if so, how did you pull yourself out of it?
That's a great question.
I don't think she did. Look at her.
No, I definitely did.
Everyone has those moments of like, if you quit or give up, it's the bell ringing, right?
Right.
Do you do a bell ringing in the Coast Guard to do that?
No, it's not as dramatic. You just fade and you're just gone, which is even more depressing.
That's even more sad.
Yeah. You're just like, whatever happened to such and such? They're gone. Right. They didn't make it. You're just like, wow, that's scary.
I'd rather ring the bell.
Right, exactly.
I'll take the humiliation. And
right.
So did you have any of those defining moments as you think back?
I would just say during boot camp or swap summer, it was just tough. Like it wasn't the physical part of it for me, because I like keep myself in shape for the most part, but just people yelling at you. Most people aren't used to that. Getting yelled at.
Yeah. What is that like? That would give me the most anxiety, is to have somebody yelling at me.
And it's crazy because even when you're not doing anything wrong, they are just kind of, you feel like you're getting picked on, and I'm not used to that. I'm used to, Kyla, you're always handling your business, you're on top of your stuff. And now, like, I don't know, somebody doesn't do enough push-ups, so they're like, everybody gets in trouble for that. And it was just really like, man, like, it's not about me anymore. It's the team. And I would try to make myself look good. But they're like, no, like instead of getting praised for it, they're like, no, but you're a jerk because you let down your shipmates. And that was just like really defeating. I just wasn't used to that. I got to do better. I got to take care of other people. Because again, they're training you to become an officer. You are leading other people. And I always thought I was a good leader, but clearly
leading people.
Right. It was like a blow, because I'm like, wow, I always thought I was a good leader. And now they're calling me not a good leader. So.
That's a blow to the ego for a little bit, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And especially like you said, type A, it's like, what? I'm not good at something? This is insane.
Do you ever feel like you don't do things because you know you won't be good at it? Or you don't do things because you're not good at this moment? Like you'll want to practice before you show up? Or
I would say that kind of. I'm learning that now as I've gotten older. Like I'm used to being good at things. And that's what part of the issue was. I feel like in that scenario that I was explaining, like I'm just so used to being good at things. Like I can play the piano, I roller skate. Even when my boyfriend took me snowboarding, I'm like, okay, I can do this. Like, and it didn't take that long for me to learn it and pick it up. So whenever something does take me long, like flight school was the biggest shock to me. Like, wow, this is the first time I'm struggling truly and challenging.
You were it overwhelmed you a
Yes,
little bit?
extremely.
You felt overwhelmed?
And the thing is,
Wow.
like with the commitment, I'm like, wow, like, what if I don't make it? What am I supposed to do if this doesn't work out? Like, and I can't go back home and everybody's gonna look at me as a failure. I think I'm usually the toughest on myself when it comes to things like that. I just expect so much out of myself. And so when I'm like struggling, I'm like, this is not good. I got to get it together because people are looking up to me. Even if they're not, I think I'm trying to just set a good example for whoever may be looking up to me. I don't know who is, but, and that's why after boot camp, I got this tattoo on my arm. It's just, I don't know.
Oh,
Let
cool.
me see.
What
Wait,
does
bring
it
it
say?
closer to the camera. One more second.
It looks like
Is it a cross?
cross?
So it's a cross with some words on the top, but it's sideways cross. Okay.
Yes.
So what does that say?
Yes. It says Psalms 46 verse 5. It says God is within her, she will not fail. And I just love that because my dad, he's a pastor, and I grew up in a religious family. And that's just what I told myself when I was going through those tough times. It's like, listen, you may struggle, but you won't fail. Even if, things don't work out the way you want them to work out, you're not a failure. You're going to pick yourself up and you're always going to handle your business because that's just who Kyla is. And so that's just kept me going, even when times get hard.
That's very inspiring.
So, yeah.
I remember this quote, and it's very inspiring. And it's not word for word, but it's fear and God cannot exist in the same place at the same time.
Right. Mm-hmm. I've heard that.
Yeah. And I feel that, like, if you truly believe in something bigger than yourself, whether it's God or the universe and energy, whatever it is, that feeling and fear cannot be in the same place. So you have to pick one or the other. Which one are you going to pick?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you pick the bigger picture.
Right.
So
exactly.
It seems like you have. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
So I grew up military. My father was in the Marine Corps from about 1971, 72 to 1976.
Okay.
We lived on a helicopter base in Southern California. It's not there anymore. It's in Irvine. I don't know if you're familiar. By Irvine, they have these two huge hangars. They're defunct now, but they're still there. And they used to keep blimps in there from a long time ago, World War, whatever. So it was a huge helicopter base. It was actually called Lighter Than Air. And they flew, and this was, mind you, early 70s, Sikorsky's, Hueys, Cobras. And for me, the most calming, comforting sound is whoop, 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 whoop. Because there was constant because we lived on base. So the helicopters were always over me. So for me, it's very comforting, and it's crazy. People think I'm crazy because here in Albuquerque, if there's a helicopter over you, it means there's a criminal running around, and get in your house and lock your doors. And for me, I'm like, oh, it's a helicopter. No. So I kind of have,
unless you have a friend in the Air Force who flies over your house.
Yeah. We have a friend that he flies over for me, and I just love it. I run out and wave at him and everything. So I was wondering, you were telling me at the dog park a little bit about the helicopters that you're training on, and can you share that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah, right now I'm in the last phase of training, and I'm flying the TH-57. It's a Bell helicopter. Single engine. It's very, comparing it to actual military aircraft, it's a little gnat in the sky that can just get whipped out. Like, it's so small. But it's a great training helicopter.
And you're in some fierce winds too, right? I mean, are you in is that the rescue helicopter? Kind of dumb it down for people who don't know, like us.
So right now, again, I'm just in training. So it's just a training helicopter just to get you familiar with hovering, landing, using your instruments in the helicopter, talking on radios and stuff like that. So it's not an actual military aircraft where we're doing missions. We're still in training, just learning how to safely,
like all the tech, like the terminology, like Zulu, whatever.
Exactly.
9-4.
Yes.
10-4, 10-4, not 9-4.
There you go. Something like that. But yeah, it's just a training helicopter right now. So that's what we learn how to fly in initially.
And then how long is that training for? And then what's the next step in your training?
So this is the last phase of helicopter training. So initially you get to flight school. The Navy, Marines, and Coast Guard, they all train their future pilots in Pensacola and in Milton. The first phases of training are done in like a little Cessna putt-putt plane, one of those little recreational aircraft you might see. So then you go to a next phase of training and you're flying like a really small jet-looking plane. It has a propeller on it, but also has wings. So it's just to get you more familiar with going really fast and things like that. And then I chose to go the helicopter route because, as you know, the Coast Guard has fixed wing aircraft, but I'm flying helicopters. So now I'm in the last phase of advance, and it's typically about 9 months.
Sounds so intense.
Yeah, it's pretty intense once you're in the thick of it. And that's the thing, like my family they, again, not being military, they don't really understand what's happening. They're like, oh, what you doing today? I'm like, oh, I'm going to go on a flight. And they're like, you fly? And I'm like, every day. They're like, every day? Yes, every day. That's how you go to work every day to do whatever your job is. I have to fly every day. Yeah.
Football players go to practice every day. Yeah.
Every day. Yeah.
So do you know what the cost of a private helicopter training would cost?
Oh, yeah.
As to what you're getting in the military comparatively?
When you sign up and they're like, listen, this is it. They say it's probably like $4 million. The training that we get is worth a lot. It takes a lot of time, fuel. You have to have instructors willing to teach you and things like that. So it's not cheap at all. And that's why.
That's not including the equipment. That's not the helicopter you're flying. That's the value.
No, it's just the value.
Training.
Right, exactly.
It's $4 million. That's an incredible number.
Yeah, so they're paying for us to get this training done. And I mean, it's cool. Like we get paid to just go up and fly. And it's very serious. We're being critiqued and graded every single day, having check rides and tests and things like that. But it's also so cool because while my other friends that are 25-year-olds are going to their regular job to get paid, I'm like, hey, I get to go do cool stuff in a helicopter and get paid. So it's really rewarding.
And have a $4 million education.
Right. Yeah.
Seriously, if we could really put a value on life experience and what that brings to you, whether it be through the military or life or whatever, somebody tries to invest in you, that's incredible to me.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Wow. Plus your pension.
Right, yeah.
There's a huge value there. So have you thought about after the military, what are your plans? I know that could change a million times between now and then. We will not hold you to it. But I mean, what are you thinking beyond the military?
I don't even know, honestly. Most people, they oh, I want to fly commercial or for Delta or something afterwards. But I think I want to do something different. I really appreciated the mentors that I had in high school when I was in the military program there. And they were awesome. So I always used to tell myself, I want to come back and be an instructor at a high school and teach students and, set a good example, just like my instructors did for me. But also, I love roller skating. So I would love to open up a roller skating rink. I think that'd be so fun. So I don't know.
Listen, I have a trail or by my house that I run, and there is a guy who roller skates. I rollerblade around it, and it's kind of embarrassing that I still rollerblade.
It's fine.
But he roller skates, and he's got music, and he's dancing, he's got all the moves, and I'm so impressed that he's out there every day. I just think it's so cool, and I want him to teach me. So will you teach me how to roller skate, Kyla? Will you put YouTube videos out there or something for me to watch?
I actually have an Instagram page. I have an Instagram skate page. Literally, I haven't posted anything in months because I've just been flying every day, so busy. But
I don't care, but we'll follow you.
We want to follow you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We'll promote you.
Yeah, I try to do fun things on the side. So,
what else do you do? What are their fun hobbies? What's your let loose? Besides roller skate? And do you listen to music, and what do you listen to? Do you have a favorite song or genre?
Right. So I love old school music, stuff that my parents were listening to, like Earth, Wind and Fire and all those old groups.
Ohio Players.
Oh, yeah. Ohio Players. Yeah. I'm really weird when it comes to music. Most people my age aren't listening to that stuff. But I love it. I have a record player and I collect all the old records and stuff. Yeah. It's pretty cool. So in addition to that, I have my dog. His name is Coda.
We love Coda. Cute beagle. Coda, you got to see Coda.
Oh, a beagle?
He's sleeping right now. Oh, I would go skating with him, and he thinks he's a little sled dog. He's just pulling me around the neighborhood.
Does he pull you?
Yes, and he's only about 20 pounds. He's a little beagle. He thinks he's a sled dog, and you should see all the people in the neighborhood are like, look at that girl. Half the time she's wearing a flight suit. Half the time she's wearing some shorts and getting dragged by her dog down the street. She's interesting.
Do you know what? Live your life.
Yeah.
So I just moved here in my neighborhood. My kids and I skateboard. I'm in my mid-40s.
Hey.
They think I'm nuts. I run.
That's what you got to do.
And when I run, I dance too.
Yeah.
Like, it's embarrassing. I don't care.
Do you?
I have to
do what you got to do.
That is what you got to do.
Exactly.
That's what you got to do.
Exactly.
All right. So that maybe we should kind of focus on that right now, and what you got to do and a take action. I could like literally talk to Kyla for hours. I like, please come to my house if you're ever in Oklahoma.
Right.
I will take you out on the town.
Okay.
But do you have a what you got to do? And again, what you got to do is a call to action of something that you've taken away from this, been inspired by our conversation, or something that it's on your mind or thinking about. KT, do you have a what you got to do from this conversation? And then Kyla, I would like to ask you to share one.
Okay.
So I do. And I was thinking about what she was talking about when times got tough for her. And as you know, I struggle. I'm a big baby, and I'm constantly getting down on myself and calling Cody and say, Cody, I can't do this anymore. And I was thinking about what she said when she was in flight school, how, get it together. People are looking up to me. I got to put on that good face and get it going. And then also too, that Psalms 46:5 that she talked about, she will not fail. Mm-hmm. I'm going to print that up, and I'm going to put that on my mirror so I can look at it every day. And I want to be strong like Kyla. I mean, obviously, I'm too old to go to the Coast Guard Academy and become a helicopter pilot, but I can still pursue the dreams that I have, and I cannot get down on myself. And I'm going to focus on what Kyla has talked about today. And that's my what you got to do, and that's my call to action. And you can hold me accountable, Cody.
I will hold you accountable for it. When I was 39 years old when I was looking at joining the FBI or the CIA. And I realized that the cutoff age was 37 and that ship had sailed. And it was really heartbreaking. So, KT, I will join you in that endeavor, in that I have my eyes set on some other bigger things. And I'm going to print that out as well and be my inspiration. So thank you, Kyla, for sharing that with us.
Thank you. I love that.
Do you have a what you got to do for us?
It's kind of the same. KT, you kind of stole my do what you got to do.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. I would just say I just want to encourage everyone to get out there and do something different, no matter what you think you're capable of, or what you grew up seeing. Like I said, nobody was I didn't grow up in a military family very much. And I used to see the Coast Guard helicopter fly on the Jersey Shore, but I didn't know what that was. I didn't know that could be me. And here I am right now, So just continue, no matter what you want to do, just continue to allow those doors to stay open. Just continue to work hard in whatever you're doing. Network, just like I met KT at the dog park. Just talk to people, Just
ask.
Right, exactly.
Just ask.
Yeah, just make sure you just don't limit yourself. Don't tell yourself that you can't do something or that something isn't available to you, regardless of why you think you can't do it. Just try. That's all I'm saying. Just try.
That's fantastic.
I think that's great. If you don't try, you're failing.
Exactly. And we can't be failures.
No, nobody's a failure. I think that's so fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that, what you got to do, and challenging us to be better and push our vertical limits.
Exactly.
Really.
Yeah.
Push them beyond where you want to go. Push that to which you can survive, because you will survive. Mm-hmm. I mean, look at what people are doing.
Right.
Look at all the amazing people and what they're doing. And you are one of those people. So thank you for that. So as you know, we love to do cold, prickly, warm, fuzzy, or warm, fuzzy, cold, prickly, whichever way you want to say it. What a warm fuzzy is something maybe positive and impactful that happened to you this week. And a cold, prickly is either something you could have learned from or taken away with, or just something that just didn't feel right. So I'm going to start with the cold, prickly today, and I'll share with you what that is. So I had a favorite client passed away the other night, and it really affected me. And just going through that whole mourning and grieving process of that, my clients become like family to me. I love them very, very much. And I just really want to honor her. And I got to share some stories and jokes with her two boys that she used to call me and tell me inappropriate jokes. And we would share recipes, and it was just a lot of fun, and I'm going to miss her very, very dearly. And I just know the world is at a loss yesterday because she passed away. So that's my cool prickly. I don't have a takeaway, but I just love people and who they are.
Thanks for sharing that, Cody. That was really, really kind. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kyla, do you have a warm fuzzy that you could share with us, please?
I do. I have two, actually, if you don't mind sharing.
No, please.
Overachiever.
All right. Here I go. So yesterday, I just found out where I will be stationed next, and I'm very excited. We're going to Detroit.
Wow.
We're going to Detroit.
Wow,
I know.
Detroit.
Yes.
That's not far from here. I can fly to you.
Yeah, I'm so excited. My parents.
When do you start?
Well, I still have about 2 months left of training, so maybe sometime late spring, early summer, I'll be transferring up there. And
What a perfect time of year. It's supposed to be awesome.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, I'm excited to go out there and save lives and just do
Fantastic.
God's work up there.
So the water up there, is that considered close? So the Coast Guard does the lakes up there? Is that why you're stationed there? Wow.
Yes,
The Great Lakes?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
What a great experience.
And we also work with Canada as well. We do work with Canada to, depending on who needs help or whatever. So that's pretty cool too. I just love that mission up there.
Wow.
So I'm really excited.
That's so exciting. I'm excited. Okay, so what's your second one?
Second one is even more exciting. My nephew, he just turned 1, and he's saying Dada and Mama. And I love him so much. I don't really get to see him often. So when I got to FaceTime him and I heard him calling his parents, that I was so happy. Yeah.
That is so sweet.
That was so good to hear.
I love that being an aunt is my second favorite job.
Oh yeah, look at my shirt.
Being a mom is my first.
Somebody's
auntie.
Yes,
Oh.
that's me.
That is so cute. I love that. So it's my favorite. Katie, I know you're really close to some of your nieces and nephews. I'm very close to a lot of my nieces and nephews. So Kyla, I'm so excited that you have this journey of a lifetime. My nieces and nephews are now having children, and it's like insane.
Yeah. I always tell my sister, I'm like, when he gets old enough, let him spend time with Auntie Kyla, and I'll take him up on a helicopter ride. And she's like, absolutely not. So we'll see.
Oh my gosh, you're going to win favorite aunt every year.
Yes, that's what I'm hoping for. That's the goal.
Thank you so much for inspiring me in so many ways. I'm so excited that Katie met you. It's like fortuitous.
Mm-hmm.
I think that anytime we meet somebody in our lives, there's always a reason. And this podcast has been a huge reason for us to meet people and introduce the world to people like you.
Thank you.
Hopefully the world.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 or 3 listeners, but hey.
It's fine.
If we reach one person, we've done well. So
exactly. Yeah, no, thanks for having me so much. It's been really fun. I've enjoyed our conversations, and you guys are great. You guys are inspiring.
We're going to keep following you and keep praying and hoping for you and all the success in the world. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for continuing to inspire us, and remember to take action and claim freedom. Until next week, friends, have a wonderful day.
bye-bye. Thanks, Kyla. Thank you for listening to What You Gotta Do. The music for this podcast is written, produced, and performed by Joe Steitler. Production manager and host for What You Gotta Do podcast is Cody Hardy. Creative director is Matt Johnson. I'm KT Johnson, your co-host and editor. This has been a hell of a production.
What you gotta do is listen!
Oh.